Hello, fellow pen lovers and stationery enthusiasts. I have a little bit of a review for you today. Um, Last month, while I was shopping with a new to me company on Etsy, while I was trying to sort of look up reviews on YouTube and on the internet, I discovered the company didn't really have a lot of word of mouth, which is kind of crazy because they have really good sales on Etsy proper. The reviews on Etsy are really fantastic as well. So I was still kind of nervous to go ahead and order though, just because that's really how I usually make my decisions when I actually get to see filmed footage of an item or hear different opinions from especially like my usual blogs and everything. But I really, really kind of fell in love with these two pieces, the color and everything. And I just decided, I'm going to bite the bullet, place the order. If I don't end up loving them, whatever. But I am so glad that I did, and I wanted to make a little video of these just so that if you are also in the same boat and trying to decide if these items are for you or not, you'll at least have a little bit of footage to sort of gauge a little bit more rather than just store photos, whether these pieces are going to be good for you or not. So the company that I am referring to is on Etsy. It's called LepusLeather. It is out of Poland, and the owner is a lovely gentleman named Conrad. I actually communicated with him for a couple of things in messaging, and he was really super fast at responding and really super polite and very accommodating. And the two items that I wanted in particular are these two. And they're absolutely gorgeous. Like I said, I'm so glad that I placed an order with his company. These are fantastic, fantastic pieces with great workmanship. The item right here is his leather case with divider for 4 fountain pens, and this one comes in the color Saddle. Then this one is the leather case for 1 or 2 pens, and it's also in the color Saddle. Now, when I saw it on the internet, I kind of thought, oh, this color looks really familiar, and I don't know that I know it as Saddle. A lot of times saddle leather looks a little bit reddish to me, and these are very gold. And actually, in real life, when I opened the box, I thought this reminds me very much of Portland Leather Company's Honey. So if you're familiar with Portland Leather and their bags, this is very similar to the honey colored leather, and I am so in love with that. It works really, really well for me. So just one more thing to consider. These pieces are both vegetable tanned, which is my favorite process for color treating leather. This means that they're going to age and patina over time. So really, the longer you use them, the more beautiful and more personalized to you they're going to be. The oils in your hand and just contact with air in day-to-day life, it's going to create something that's just going to be a beautiful piece of art as it ages. And that's, again, one of my absolute favorite things about the vegetable tanned leather. Another perk with LepusLeather is that for items over a certain price point, you are offered free shipping. I think anything like this, these bigger cases, are going to have free shipping. If you were to only pick up a 1 to 2 pen case, I think those do have a bit of shipping, but if you order it together, that's pulled out. And yeah, like I said, I'm really, really happy. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into a slightly more thorough review of both of these. This again is the 4 pen case. Pros, it's gorgeous. I really do love the coloring on this thing. It's just beautiful. The molding is really very well done. It's even and it's really solid. The leather is very thick. It's not just like genuine top leather or anything. It's got a really good weighty feel to it. And that's not just the body of the piece. If you'll notice, the strap is sometimes really, really thin on other companies' cases, which kind of find a little bit annoying. But Conrad has not done that with this one. It's pretty much the same size as the other parts of the case, which is really nice. So the flap fits really well, but the strap doesn't feel like it's going to tear off of the case. Because the stitching is super duper even and tight everywhere, you know that you're going to have a really solid place to put your pens. Um, this is also customizable. So the inside divider is made of these 4 little kind of cozies for pens from leather, and the cozy runs the entire length of the case. And each of those little loops that holds the pens standard comes at 15 millimeters. Now that for me would fit 99% of my pen collection. I tend towards a slimmer bodied pen anyway, but I was a little bit concerned about my Benu. Benu pens are a little bit thicker and just, they're a little bit chunkier. And I know that the Benu is very close to 15 millimeters in diameter already. So I messaged Conrad and asked, would it be possible to make the loops just a little bit wider? And I said, could you do 17 millimeters? He was like, totally fine, very quickly responded, and did not charge extra for that customization, which was also really, really lovely. And you can see everything, including the Benu, and I would imagine pens that size or even a little bit larger also fit just fine. They are like the thicker pens, it's snug but not too snug. I don't feel like worried about edges getting scratched or anything. It's just a very nice pen holder. Now, as far as cons go, I don't really have any cons because, as I said, I'm kind of in love with this case, and I've had it for about 3.5 weeks, and I've been using it quite regularly. But I do have a couple of things for people to consider, just things to think about when you're picking it up. If you are someone who solely uses pocket pens, it might be a little bit awkward to use just because it is designed for full-sized pens. And you definitely need to utilize the pen clip when it comes to those loops, because so this is a Pilot Elite 95S. I would consider this a pocket pen. I'm pretty sure most people do. If you don't use the pen clip, you can't even see it anymore. And so I don't have like skinny fingers, but I don't have super fat fingers, but it's kind of hard to slide the pen out, so you just have to tilt it and it'll come out that way. But it's just kind of a hassle, so you really do have to use the pen clip. I know some people are a little bit concerned about using clips in general because they don't want to destroy them. It is what it is, but it works just fine. I've been using them, and I generally use, again, smaller pens. I use my Kaweco Sport in here and transport that, and just fine, and the clip works a-okay. Also, clearly works just fine for like lammies, and it's well sized, but like I said, if you are a fan of pocket pens or really skinny pens, you might need to utilize the pen clip just to keep it, from jostling around a little bit, especially if you ask for the wider diameter. The other thing is, it's not, again, a concern, but it is something to think about. The divider itself is attached to the case. I've seen some molded pen cases where you can slide that divider out. This one does not do that. It's stationary. It is where it is. So, other thing to think about, I suppose. I will say, if he made this in a pocket pen size, I would get it in a heartbeat, because I do love pocket pens and I do love this case, so I would get it very, very quickly. Other than that, I absolutely adore it. I mean, it's not an other than that. I just adore this case in general, but if any of those things are things that you generally will think about, just know that's how it is with this case. Now, with the other case, which is the 1-2 pen case, you're dealing with pretty much the same things as far as construction goes. Vegetable tanned, very thick leather. It's very, very evenly stitched. You can see there's not a single missed moment. Everything is pretty much perfect. It is gorgeous, and it smells amazing. I did not mention that these both smell phenomenal, even after 2 weeks of, or not 2 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks of constant use. This one has the added benefit at the top of being not stitched to the very edge. I actually really like that, because when you squeeze it, it makes it a lot easier to remove your pens. Sometimes I get a little bit nervous about pens scratching each other when they're in something that's tight and constrictive like this, but I'm not concerned about that here because that little extra give allows it to come loose, and it's still pretty solid. The pens are going to stay there. It's constrictive enough to hold them in place. So I don't have any qualms about just chucking this guy in my purse and knowing that my pens are still going to be in pretty good condition. It's also fairly small to be able to fit 2 pens in, so I can definitely, you know, fit it in kind of any bag. You could also probably pop it in your pocket if you really wanted to. I don't do that just because I tend to wear things that don't have a lot of pockets, dresses and pants that just don't, because it's unfortunate, but you know. But yeah, so I really do love that. Really, it's minimal, and sometimes that's really all you want. I don't want all of the extra flaps and everything. I just want a simple case, quick and easy. Access is fine. And yeah, like in general, this is just a really great case. I don't really have any cons per se for this one either. I don't even know that I have any considerations really. It's just kind of a perfect pen sleeve. Definitely designed for either one chunky pen, like if I put my Banu in here, there's no way I could fit another pen, but it's good for 2 mid-size. This has got both my Lamy 2000 stainless steel and my Pilot Decimo, and they fit just fine. It's kind of like perfect for these two. And yeah, I really love that. For both of these, I will say, because you're using really thick, sturdy leather, some people might think they're a little bit heavy. This one, empty, weighs, I did write this down, okay, 117 grams, which is around 4.2 ounces. And then with these particular 4 pens, it's 206 grams or 7.3 ounces. That's less than half a pound, but if you're hoping for something weightless like a felt case or a cloth case, this is obviously not it, because heavier leather is going to be a bit weightier. This one, it depends really. It's going to depend on the pens that you put in here. My Lamy 2000 stainless steel, it's a chunky, heavy pen. Like, it's made of stainless steel. So it's weighty, but it's going to be regardless because that's what's inside the case. So that is another mileage may vary point and the point of consideration. But other than that, I love both of these pieces. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them, so feel free to comment below. But yeah, definitely check out LepusLeather if you are in the market for a pen case. Hopefully this review will give you a slightly better idea of what each of these items kind of looks like and how they work. Not how they work, obviously it's a pen case, you know how they work, but just in general, the quality of the item, which is really solid. So thank you for listening, and hopefully you will tune in again should I do another review. If this was helpful to you at all, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. Thanks again, everybody. We'll see you next time.